gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for all that you do for us. We pray tonight that you'll be here with us, lead us and guide us, and help us to do the business of our city, but also do your business. We love you, and we thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. In your package, you'll have the minutes from our October 15th, 2019, the minutes from that meeting.
Motion.
You have a motion? You have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Committee reports. Chamber. I don't see her here tonight. All right, finance.
I don't have anything tonight.
Fire.
Oh, got a little bit. We had a committee meeting on October 28th. We discussed some of the codes. I had talked to Terry once before about doing something with the bond. Instead of having a bond, we need to start thinking about going to a liability type insurance for people who work in the city. I just don't know what's going to be involved with it, but we're talking, trying to communicate with Terry. Everybody's been pretty busy. So, would like to have a little bit of a closed meeting after the council meeting if possible.
Okay. Human resources. Nick's not here. So, Humane Department. Kay's not here. Barry, do you have anything?
Nothing.
Okay. Police.
Nick's
Nick's not here.
But I don't think there's anything for the public at this time.
But we do have to have a closed session.
Yes.
For hires and hiring. Street Department.
Nothing right now.
Okay. Stormwater.
We are starting to work on the issues that we had at South Jackson. And we've got some replacement of pipes and some ditches being dug and just getting onto that project like we promised. So that's all we've got.
Industrial.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Department reports. Fire.
Mayor, council members, events of the past couple of weeks. We have had 3 structure fires within the city of Kennett. One of them is suspicious, and we want to remind our folks out there, if you own property, check your property frequently. We're having issues with possible vagrants or people kind of moving in and out of houses that don't belong there. But again, if you own property, you've got to check your property. We've had one recently fire that we're kind of suspicious that, again, it may be due to possibility of homeless or just vagrants in general. But the fire and police, we're doing what we can do. You know, we go out and we ask questions and we make a little bit of a cause determination, but again, we're running into areas where folks aren't necessarily checking their property. We've got windows that aren't boarded up, doors that are busted loose and remain unchecked. So again, we really want to stress this. We were we did go out on 2 mutual aid calls this past couple of weeks, one in Zenith, out in the county, and then we assisted Crothersville on a very large structure that they had in their city limits. So we were able to go help those folks. And again, with mutual aid, it's one of those things that we help you, you help us when needed. So we've been returning a favor. Crothersville and Zenith both have been very gracious to help us many times. Fire Prevention Month went over great. Again, 14 fire prevention activities, 1,500 people reached out to as far as fire prevention, 200 senior citizens. Senior citizens is something that we're looking at now, is fire prevention, that we want to get out and get those folks out there. Make sure they understand fire safety and some things that they can do to make their lives a lot safer. We did have 3 earthquake speaking engagements. October was also kind of one of those months that was known for Great American Shakeout, which went quite well. Had several people registered and a lot of businesses that participated in that. So, also multiple radio, newspaper announcements. We certainly do appreciate our radio stations and our newspaper for helping us get the word out there as far as fire prevention and safety topics. So appreciated that. Staff has been fairly busy on Friday nights with home football games. We do EMS standbys for those folks, and I understand that we're still doing some EMS standbys. So we definitely
Hopefully at least 2 more.
we're got to plug our Kennedy Indians that hopefully we're going to be doing a few more EMS standbys for them. Training was pretty busy. Annual Missouri Code Conference. Our whole code enforcement department went. Victor, Donnie Folks, and Dennis Hamlin. Instructor conference, Lance Davis and Tyler Roberts attended that. As well as we did have our Instructor 1 course, which is a major course that we wanted to get in for some of our folks. And we had 9 participate in that. So we were tickled to death that we were able to teach that class in-house at very limited cost. So, one thing we did, we brought up in our fire committee meeting the other night was the request for sale of surplus property. So me and James kind of talked. I guess we need to bring that up now or in a closed session, however that works. Terry?
The open session.
Okay. We do have a 28-foot fire safety trailer, and it's just not really cost efficient to repair it. It was bought used, and the intent was to fix it, but over time, without fixing it, everything has just totally become pretty much irreplaceable. So anyway, we want to try to go ahead and put photos out there on the websites and Facebook world to take bids for it. We also have a 75 model GMC cargo van, if anyone's interested in that. Whopping 24,000 miles on it. However, it does not run. But again, if you got that need for a 75 model cargo van, we can hook you up.
Deer season coming up.
Yeah, deer season coming up. And if you want to upgrade, we have a 95 model ambulance. Again, it's a 95 ambulance chassis, no mileage available because again, it does not run. So there's a common theme here. So yeah, it doesn't run. The last time it was used, I think it went from fire to police, back to fire, back to the mow crew, and they've worn the wheels off of it. So we want to get rid of that one. And O2 ambulance, we're moving up. O2 ambulance with 259,000 miles on it. Motor does run, needs a set of glow plugs at a minimum. And then finally, for you hunters out there, 01 Jeep Cherokee 4-wheel drive. It runs till they went to start it the other day and the battery's obviously dead. We were not able to check the mileage. So again, we have those 5 items there that we want to, however it needs to work through the city as far as the bid process to move that equipment out of our surplus. That's probably the best thing we need to do with that equipment. So.
What do you gotta do, Terry?
Put it out for bids and set a date.
No
So we
motion.
seal bids.
Well, you have a motion to do it, yeah.
I gotta make a motion to do it. Second.
Just seal bids or seal?
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the sealed bids till,
What, 2 weeks?
Next meeting.
Next meeting?
Yeah, open next meeting.
Awesome. Great. Touch base with you on grant funding for the fire station. Been in touch with Hannah Barnett with the Department of Economic Development. And she's come up with an additional $175,000 that may be available to us through grants. So we're up to approximately $675,000 that will be available to us as far as grant money for a new station.
Any matching funds for that?
No, not that. No,
100%?
100%.
Wow.
Yep, we're 100% on that 675, yes.
what,
I guess you already started the process, and when can you, after the first of the year?
Well, we've steadily been trying to, working with Hannah, and we've also talked to Mitzi as far as different options out there in the way of grants. Hannah is still searching. So like I said, she come up with this past week, so I don't want to put the brakes on her, keep her from looking anymore, because
Yeah, more's always better.
she's doing good. Again, that's something that I may need your advice, is how far do we go with this before we start moving on, that we need to start looking at an architect and so forth. So any advice is greatly appreciated, so. This is y'all's station as well, so. One more thing I need to, want to kind of bring up, and it probably needs to go through the fire committee first. Speaking with Burma a few weeks ago, he come in, was doing some other stuff for the city. One thing he let us know as far as the fire department, our turnout gear is an issue with Burma. There is an NFPA standard in the fire service about having gear that is older than 10 years old. I wasn't really aware of it till recently. And what really got my interest is when Mr. Murma come in and said, hey, next time you're here, we're going to be looking at your turnout gear. And he said, you got to have, your gear needs to be less than 10 years old. So at this time,
Give us something to talk about.
yeah, so we have 12 sets at this time. He says he's going to come in and look at 12, but in the event of something happening to any individuals that has that older set of gear, that it could be held, the city could be held liable for it. So with existing budget and so forth, as far as getting some of this old gear out, we're looking probably at going an extra $5,800 outside of our budget, which we may get into equipment reserve, but again, that I may have to go through the fire committee first, but again, we're looking at $5,800 that I'll need to pull at some point to get us all up to speed according to our.
5,800 to do it.
Yes. I've already got some money budgeted in our budget for PPE, personal protective equipment, but yeah, we're gonna need an additional 58 from somewhere.
Okay.
That's all I have, folks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You may.
For October, we took in 32 dogs, returned 10 to the owner. We had to euthanize 3 due to their attitudes were too bad to put on the street. We adopted out to St. Louis area, so still not really local. And then we transferred 21. We rolled over 30 till November. Then November 2nd, we transported out, and currently we have 17 on intake, which is probably our lowest number in 2 years.
That's good.
So, yeah, I feel like it. And all their health certificates and stuff was paid for through donations, so it cost the city nothing.
Good deal.
That's great. Thank you.
But that's about it.
Tim, do you have a date on that training? Was it November or sometime?
It's tomorrow,
Tomorrow?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Well,
tomorrow.
that answers my
Helen
question.
and I will be, yeah. Helen and I are going back tomorrow.
Okay.
It's at 9:30 all day.
Okay. Expect a phone call.
Please.
All right. First thing I'd like to present to the council, this coming Saturday on the 9th, we're going to be having a training class at Sea Light Gas Water IT Barn. This is a course on critical mindset for counter ambush on law enforcement. It's unusual for us to get this type of training in this area. It can be a very good class. We open it up to the fire department, anyone involved in EMS, first responders, anything, even their spouses can come to this class. It covers a lot of things that have to do with law enforcement, PTSD, stuff like this. I would also like to thank the family of former late Kennett police officer Gordon Flash Crawford. His family donated $4,000 in order to get these instructors here. So that doesn't come around this area very often due to the expense. So we're very excited about this class. It's from 8 to 5. This week we'll also have like a lunch during this time. Very good classes, and we're looking forward to that. But we have a lot of people that help make this class possible. Obviously, the Crawford family, Baker Farm and Hardware, Days Inn, Walmart, Pepsi, and of course, City Light Gas and Water. For letting us use the IT barn, fire department, supply water that people have during the day and also during the meal. And we're gonna be reaching out to Country Mart at some point and see if they're willing to help out a little bit with some of the supplies we need for this Saturday. But again, the community stepped up, they supported this training, and we're very appreciative of it. Also, other training we got going on right now, we got 2 officers going to field training officer school. It's at Jefferson College in Arnold, Missouri. With potential hires we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to need some field training officers available to help us train additional crews. And also, Sergeant Dennis and myself attended a class this past week on, the first day was on PTSD, and then the second day was on leadership class. Both of them were very good classes, and we got quite a bit out of those. Other than that, that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions. The rest I have for closed session.
The city stickers for the ATVs, UTVs. Between now and the next council meeting, can you guys get together and come to a consensus on where you would like that sticker placed? On the front, on the back, on the side? You know,
That was one of those things that I was supposed to talk about in the meeting the other night, and I did not.
yeah, so,
Miss Brenda's given us kind of like a pattern for the first year. I can go get that and let you guys see it and for council approval. We want to, we decide that tonight. It's basically just what council feels. I know what my opinion is, but I'd like, from you guys too.
Really? Please?
that's really.
Please.
It's like your opinion is what matters most on this.
Before that you want it on the left front.
I think from law enforcement standpoint, I think on the front, on the driver's side, like on the fender, right there where it's very visible, a lot of these UTVs and ATVs don't have a windshield. So on the front fender where it's visible when we approach the vehicle, I think it'd be best. But I think that maybe something has to be added to the ordinance that has to be placed there.
We need a motion to that effect.
Sure.
I make it so. Second.
Second.
And then each year, these colors will change, so we'll know basically, whether they're up to date on their stickers or not.
Speaking of, what's the total number we sold?
Ooh, I don't know, I didn't check. It's close to 100.
And I don't even see them on the road, really.
There's a few out. There's.
I mean, not as much as I thought I would, you know?
Yeah.
I figured out about this all over.
They must be all in my neighborhood. I see them every day.
So the motion and second, for left front?
Left front.
Okay.
If it has a windshield, put it
I
on the
still
windshield
think just keep
too.
it on the fender, that way it cuts down the confusion.
Yeah.
Same spot for everything, for all the units.
Left front fender.
Terry, you're looking on that, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, street.
Mayor, council members, don't really have a lot, just kind of updates on the report y'all were sent. Had a few calls on flooding issues on Southwest Drive at West 84 Motel. We've gone out there, there are no city drains there, they're kind of in a hole right there. But we contacted State Highway, they're going to get out there and they're going to dig the ditch out and clean out in front of the pipes. We told them when they get that done, if the pipes need to be cleaned, we'll clean the pipes out. So we're going to try to get something done with that. Another place was over on North Baker. We've taken the camera truck over there and ran through from North Baker to Dial Drive, all the way down Dial to Commercial and under College Street, and there's no blockage in the pipe anywhere over there. Matter of fact, it's some of the cleanest pipes I've ever put the camera in without cleaning them first. We're gonna go on tomorrow, if it's not raining, going down Commercial. We'll go across the bypass at Homecrest, all the way out into the county and make sure there's nothing out there, but so far we haven't found anything. Some of you probably have noticed, it's kind of the after thing, but we talked to State Highway the other day and they said they were gonna go Dairy Queen fix the hump. Somebody had asked about, they were out there today doing that, so hopefully by tomorrow or at least by the weekend they'll have that all finished up. They started pouring the concrete on 5th Street at about the ditch, and they've made it to Michael Street. That's another one of those weather permitting things. They said it'd take about 5 days when they started to get it done. So it's calling for rain tomorrow, so they might not make it in that 5 days, but it should be pretty quick. And they've got to, right about Tico, they put the last box in, which was about the alley by the pharmacy. So they should be next week or so finishing that up. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks the whole project will be finished. An update on the excavator. Had 2 weeks on your report. I got a call yesterday and they said that we should be getting the excavator in hopefully at the end of this week. The vac truck, we're still looking at 90 days on that, and about 4 weeks on the trailer. And that's all I've got. If y'all don't have any questions for me. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, in the past week, the letter was wrote and we received it last week that from Missouri Department of Economic Development that on Friday, September 20th, they met with the grant writer administrator Mitzi Dell to conduct a closeout monitoring of activities completed under the terms of the reference project. This meeting was to identify and remove any obstacles to success program implementation. The observations made at the monitoring and by reviewing the project files are discussed in this letter. In accordance with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development CDBG funding source, this review covered the following areas. And it lists them all, but I'll go through each one. Program process, the construction activities are now 100% complete, and the progress of this project is on schedule. National objective, based upon the review of the files, the project activities met the national objective of being beneficial to 70.4% of LMI persons as determined in the local income survey. All activities are eligible as funded. Citizen participation, the application public hearing was held on March 21st, 2017. The second public hearing to discuss the grant performance was held September 5th, 2019. The files contains the public hearing notice and were posted and published in minutes, signed in sheets, and performance hearings. Section 504, the compliance, self-evaluation, transition plan was available for review. The city has a grievance procedure and resolve written complaints regarding section 504 accessibility. Final, financial management. Review of the city's financial records show compliance with CDBG requirements per the financial management section of the CDBG administration manual. Documentation of expenses of the RFS invoices and payments were presented. The city agrees to expend cash match in this amount, almost $300,000 amount of the document. Environmental review. The environmental review records process are accurate in compliance with the National Environmental Policy. And equal opportunity fair housing compliance regarding the fair housing actions has been documented. Procurement files show compliance. Contract management, all contracts included in the appropriate civil rights certifications and requirements. All contracts were executed in accordance to CDBG guidelines, and all proper signatures presented, e-verified affidavits and individuals. Labor standards, all reviews of the payroll shows compliance, acquisitions. Based upon the review, the following items were requested for closeout: original engineering certificate of acceptance and final payment. Conclusion: the activities of Kennett CDBG project are in substantial conformance with state and federal requirements. The corporation of the city and grant administration is greatly appreciated. If you have any questions, you can contact Amy Weiner. So they were happy with it. Everything is done and over with. I did get a phone call from Mitzi today. We don't have the paperwork done, but she'll have it to me tomorrow, that there was $31,600 and some change left over in the grant money. CDBG gave her the verbal okay today, but that money will be moved over to the city's portion. And so the last check for the city was going to be $37,000. Now it'll be a little under $6,000. Because we'll be able to use that $31,600 left over, move it to the city side, and by approval of that, whenever we get the RFF tomorrow, Marco and I can sign that, and then they will, whenever, because right now they're all backlogged with all the disaster relief that they're doing. So, but they would like to have this wrapped up by before Thanksgiving, and so if Mark and I can sign that tomorrow, when I get it an email, get it sent off, then the city will be able to save $31,600 plus dollars. So, okay, we need a motion to do that writing tomorrow?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So, thank y'all very much. Okay, go back to the agenda. All right, in your packet for new business, you had the approval of the mosquito spray contract.
Clear my throat. Yeah, I didn't. Are they gonna spray in the air more?
No,
Yeah.
according to this, no. I think that should be amended.
We do have some extra money in that account, though, we can request
we
additional
should.
spraying.
Yeah. Is this basically the
That's what it's
same
gonna take.
contract we had with them?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a renewal of the
Yeah.
We need to,
Sit down and negotiate?
Yeah.
yeah, we need to work through this so that they'll spray by air more than just spray on the ground, because most of the ground sprayings really don't have much effect.
That was admitted to us
Yes,
by him that evening.
that's correct.
I think this is something that we should revisit.
You know, in
How soon do we need to?
Section C of this contract, under item 2, it says aerial treatments will be used only if deemed necessary.
Well,
You know,
Yeah.
who deems what to be necessary?
Step out in my backyard, you'll do it pretty quick.
daily? Yeah. I think we need to revisit that and possibly have him here.
Yeah.
Or get you, maybe, I don't know if you need to do that. Yeah, have a meeting with him.
I think that would be best.
Okay, so we can table this contract, and Ms. Brenda, if you can contact me, find out when it'd be good for him to come in, and when we get a couple different dates, we'll send it out and email to everybody, and when you can meet with him, and then we'll go from there.
Would the next council meeting beforehand, maybe an hour before, you think that'd be enough time to talk about it?
Probably not. We
I don't
probably need
think-
to have a separate time.
I don't know why we need to be in that big of a hurry. It's supposed to be 25 this weekend. Mosquitoes are not an imminent danger for a while.
I don't know, I've seen one the other day.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah. So we'll go ahead and we'll get that set up and give everybody a date and time to meet and discuss anything we need to with the mosquito spraying. Next, we have approving an ordinance for purchase of 315 Cary Street by CLGW.
Does anybody have any idea what this is for?
Yes.
Yes.
It's next to the water plant or water treatment facility, which they have plans to expand, and that's part of their expansion plan.
Is it across the street or on the same side of the street or?
Same thing.
Same side?
First reading, an ordinance authorizing the city of Kennet, Missouri, acting by and through the Kennet Board of Public Works, purchase property located at 315 Cary in the city. The purchase price is $40,000 to be paid by the Board of Public Works.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Just one call.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second reading, an ordinance authorizing the city of Kennet, Missouri, acting by and through the Kennet Board of Public Works, to purchase property located at 315 Cary in the city.
Motion.
Second.
Yeah, this one is,
This roll call.
yeah, this is roll call.
Aye.
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 Yes.
Aye. Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Good, motion carries. Okay. Second, approval of rezoning of 411 Cedar Street for friendly waste management.
First reading is an ordinance rezoning a certain parcel from R1 Single Family Residential to B2 General Business in part of lots 7 and 8 and all of lots 9 and 10 East Kennet in addition to the city of Kennet. And also lots 1, 2, 3, and 4 of lot 2 industrial addition to the city of Kennet.
Okay, we need a motion.
I want to get something straight with this, because everyone that has spoken to me about this, no one is for it. So, the reason they're not for it, they are afraid that they're going to use this particular property in the city of Kennet, in the middle of the city of Kennet, as a transfer station. I can't tell the people that have asked me about this, yes they are, and no they're not, because I'm not sure. And that's why I'm asking.
It would be an impermissible use in B2 for it to be a transfer station or for garbage to be on the property.
Okay, that's what I thought. I did not want to give them that information without asking and knowing for sure.
What kind of time do they have to remove the refuse
They shouldn't have it on there.
from the property? Because I know that they had a truck full over the weekend, all weekend.
That shouldn't be on the property.
It was there.
That would be an impermissible use of B2.
It was there all weekend. It was full, it was overflowing out the back.
My next question.
They had it parked, so the nose of the vehicle was towards Cedar Street, but it went by St. Francis and cut through a certain attorney's office property. You could see it from the back.
Certainly see it from that office.
My next question goes along with Mr. Freeman there. Who's going to be responsible for citing this if it does happen?
Code enforcement.
Good luck. Well, what it sounds like is if everybody agrees and everyone wants to do what they say they're going to do, this shouldn't be a big deal.
No, yeah. What about the fencing? Do they have to have fencing all the way around it?
There's no fencing requirement.
Oh.
Because they aren't bordering. There's a fencing requirement if you're B2 bordering R1 residential. There is, they don't have that. So there is no fencing requirement.
Is the rest of the block not R1?
No, none of the rest of the block is. Now, I don't know about this end on Cedar Street, but the rest of the block behind it is B2.
Somebody else owns a lot between.
Yeah, they're not next to any, what's across the street from City Hall here is R1, which I think it is. They're not adjacent to that, because I know somebody has bought the little driveway. Yeah. Some attorney's office bought that driveway.
Within your package, you should have received a letter from, I think it was Front Street LLC requesting a no vote. And then today there's been, I think 3 emails that we've sent back out from local businesses in that area stating the same.
And the importance of those, now, some of the, or 2 of the people who objected as far as requiring a supermajority vote, it has to be a landowner. 2 of the people who object are run businesses but aren't landowners. But one of them came in late. I think that there's probably over 30% of all the land within 185 feet, which would require a supermajority of 7 votes to pass. So, second, well, we need to approve the first reading. And again, you're just approving the reading.
Motion.
First reading.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second reading, an ordinance rezoning a certain parcel from R1 single family residential to B2 general business. A part of lots 7 and 8 and all of lots 9 and 10 East Kennett addition to the city of Kennett, and all of lots 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Block 2 industrial addition to the city of Kennett.
Okay. Need a motion?
Can we, is there a fence? Of course, they have a fence around the majority of it already, right? There's just sections that need to be fixed.
I think it needs to be higher. I don't want to see a trash can,
Higher.
like 12 feet. I don't know.
That's huge. So I don't ever go through town during the day in anything but a trash truck, so I don't ever, I can always see over, but can you see over in a car?
You can see back where the trash cans are being. All the complaints I've heard about
Smell.
garbage smell.
Yeah, smell. Let's just go ahead and clear the air. Everything everybody's worried about is the smell in the center of the city.
And in light of the fact that they undoubtedly do that this boat was coming up today, and they left a garbage truck there over the weekend full, shows to me not very good faith in, or not very good judgment, I guess. If they'll do it on the weekend before the vote, tell them they'll do it all the time. And there's no representative here, I don't believe, from Friendly Way? No. To rebut what I just said? So, anyway, that's my opinion, and that's the opinion of everyone who's called me, which has been several people. They are not adjacent landowners, but they are within the range of odor. I'll put it that way.
Do we have a motion?
Was there ever an odor problem with Rams down there by the high school?
Yes.
There was?
Yes. That was in my ward, and I got a lot of calls about it.
What did they do to remedy that?
Nothing.
I didn't think they would.
So we have a motion to fix?
Without a motion, nothing happens.
Good. All right, we shall move on then. We asked for dumpsters, or more or less the city trash. Their dumpsters, their trash cans, and roll-offs.
City buildings.
City buildings. Those came in, they had till 4 o'clock today to bring it in, and Miss Brenda and I and Leslie were there. The we ended up with a bid for small trash cans and dumpsters from Friendly Waste and Sharp. We ended up with a bid from Par dumpsters for the roll-offs. And then we also ended up for an all-in-one bid from Republic. We've been using Republic for the past year. With looking at them, we were able to come to the conclusion with looking at the bids that were submitted. Sharp Disposal was cheaper than Friendly.
Do we have the numbers?
Yes.
Can we get a copy? We didn't get an email on that, did we, Brenda?
No.
No, it's,
We just opened it.
Yeah. So, Friendly Waste for the 2-yard dumpsters, 4-yard dumpsters, 6-yard dumpsters at a monthly bill of $640. From Sharp Disposal for the same 2, 4, and 6-yard dumpsters, their bid was $585.
And 2 of them maybe done twice a week.
And then, yeah, there was 2 of them that they would dispose of twice a week instead of just once and having to run off. Par Containers, we had a roll-off dumpster of $200 per haul and $50 per ton. Whenever we looked at Republic's bid, their bid for the dumpsters was $220 per drop and $41 per ton. And their prices for the 2, 4, and 6 yards, it basically came up that if we put Par and Sharp together versus Republic, there was a $2.50 a month difference.
Sounds fair enough. I mean, spending our local money locally.
So what was it, Republic per month on the 2, 4, and 6 yard?
The 2, 4, and 6, okay.
This whole thing is in there. It's on separate.
Okay. The way they did their proposal was they just gave us, what their last bids were. And that's where we were able to come up with.
Maybe there's like
Where's
a
this?
separate bid on each dumpster. There's a separate bid.
Did you add them all together? How much
Yes.
does it come per
Leslie
month?
did, but
Leslie did, and I'm not seeing that note that was here. She had it wrote down, and
You could figure it out from this to see now.
and so it came
Oh,
up.
you do have an email?
that was in the email because I had it, but the others I just got today.
Okay.
Uh, 2 yard, that's 43.50.
Yeah, that's a small 2-yard was $43.50.
So which one was lower by the $2.50 Republic or Sharp?
Republic was $2.50
Okay.
cheaper.
Okay, well, let's leave it at that. If you did the math, I'm good with that.
2-yard $43.50. 2-yard $43.50. Here's a 6-yard, picked up was $156. A 4-yard was $65. And a 2-yard picked up twice a week was $87.
We got 9 total spots, is that right?
And that's back to the 4-yard was $65.
We got 3, 6, 13.
It's either Sharp and Par or Republic.
Correct.
590 on that dumpster. 590.50.
And so basically what we ended up doing when looking at it, when it goes by the tonnage, it's $220 for the roll-off. It's $41 per ton. So one of the bills we had said 2.5 tons. So we just said 3 tons. We looked at Marco's, at Power Roll-Offs and did that, and we came up, so it was 200 plus 150, so 350, where Republic was 220 plus 3 times 41 would be 123. So you're at 143, or 343, so $7 cheaper on that. But then when we added in the individual smaller dumpsters, there was $4.50 difference,
Yeah,
so it ended up being
$5.
$2.50 cheaper with Republic. Or so that comes up to a council decision on what you want to do.
I make a motion, we use Sharp and Park together.
Here's the problem. Since Marco is par, is that for the councilman to get a bid, it has to be the lowest bid. So then we have no other choice other than to use Republic.
Now, does that mean if I'm the general manager or if I'm the owner?
Got a substantial interest in it.
No, thank you.
So then basically we have to use Republic. Yeah, I mean, for somebody on the council to give them the contract, they have to be the lowest bidder. On everybody else, you take the lowest and best. Yes. So you know what the best is. But if you're on the council, it has to be the lowest bid. Okay. Well, pretty much sums that one up then.
So need a motion for Republic.
Make motion.
Need a second? Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I was gonna be honest with you, I probably would lose money on that.
Yeah.
But you fighting the giant, so I'm always gonna try. But
Yep.
it is what it is.
You understand, didn't you?
Yes, I understand. I didn't even say no. Now, could they not have done, well, it's too late now, but could you not have changed the small dumpsters, but they were still cheaper, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mayor's report. One of the things that I've had a lot of calls, discussions, and everything else is constant rumors. That for everyone out there, if you're hearing a rumor, wait to hear it or ask them where they got their source. That it's, you know, they said this store is closing, that store is closing. I know it's Kennett and things travel very fast, but you know, we're in a hard time right now. And we really need to think more positive and cutting out some of the rumors, please try. You know, there was a store in town that, you know, Crothersville's getting one. The next day, I get a phone call, is our store leaving? And it's like, as far as I know, I do not know. And by that lunchtime, when I went out for lunch, it's like, our store's leaving. And it's like, no, Crothersville's just getting one. So it's, please, it's just, you know, unless you know it for a fact. But the other aspect is, understand you've got a group of people now that are working really hard on the hospital. You know, we're going to give you as much information as we can when we can. There's going to be a lot of things that we can't tell you. So please keep the rumors down from it, and we will give you as much as we can when we can. But just look at it all over and help us work with us and help the city to grow. Keep everything positive as much as possible. And, you know, positive attitude will breed a positive attitude. And so I thank everybody for trying that way. Okay. So today we have a special guest with us, Patrick Bonnet from Myrna.
You never know who's in the crowd.
Oh, if you don't look behind you. Hi, Patrick.
Hey,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Patrick Bono. I'm the Loss Control Director for MIRMA, and MIRMA is the Missouri Intergovernmental Risk Management Association. Hello, Terry. I've known Terry for close to 20 years. It's scary to admit that. It's my duty to be in charge of controlling losses for our association. We have 83 municipalities, not unlike the city of Kennett. We don't do other entities such as schools and counties, just municipalities. I'm excited to tell you one of the ways that we attempt to lower losses across the association is through a grant program. And the city of Kennett, I'm not quite sure who made these applications, could be the police chief, Brenda, they probably worked together on this. But the city is getting back in total $13,111.60. I will go ahead and answer a question that may be on your mind in reference to is turnout gear an element of the grant program, and unfortunately it's not. Our committee, which I'm kind of a liaison to, I think sees turnout gear as typical cost of doing business items. And while it really is a safety item, the association feels that should be paid for by the cities. So I'm going to give you a list of the items that are going to be paid for. There are three main things, and these are all law enforcement related. Out of the scope of the operation of a municipality, law enforcement represents about 40% of the liability in total. So a lot of the things that you see in this grant program are law enforcement based, and those items on your list are all police based. Surveillance system for the police department, $4,500. 7 body cameras at about $4,300. Tire deflation devices, 18 of which, and that comes out to about $4,300 as well, so $13,000 in total. Tire deflation devices is kind of an interesting topic by itself. Within the last 5 years, our association has really clamped down on police chases. You have to have a very, very serious reason for a chase. We don't want people getting hurt, namely your citizens, police officers, for chasing an individual who has just stolen a pack of cigarettes or something of the like. So we do ask our police departments to restrict their police chases to violent felonies. And I think the city of Kennett probably has approved a version of that. Tire deflation devices allow us to get in front of suspect vehicles and allow the operators of that suspect vehicle to slow down at a fairly normal rate instead of continuing a chase throughout town, putting a lot of individuals in danger. I would be glad to answer any questions if you wish. Otherwise, I will present this plaque to the mayor for participation in the grant program.
I think Chief Wilson needs to come up for it as well, because this is all going to the police department.
And we do have items for the fire department. I'm not, we do have things. Sometimes we're heavy on one department each year. That's just the way it happens.
Didn't break it, huh? No, good. You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we'll open up to public comment. Okay.
Comments or questions?
Oh, yeah, open
Maybe one?
Okay,
Come on up here.
first of all, I'd like to say, the lights, the new lighting that's putting up down the streets and all, I really like that, it looks great. Would like to ask if, I don't think they're done yet, does anyone know?
That's
How
a
far?
CLGW question.
Okay, whoever, was in charge of that or can find out, because I'd like to see them extend out to the city limits out in front of my store. So if anyone has anything that, any way to get a hold of anybody to find out if we're gonna do that, I'd like to know.
That would be a question for David Wilkins at City Light Gas and Water. They're the ones in charge of those. All right. Any other public comments, questions? All right. We need a motion to go into closed session.
Motion.
Thank you.
Yes.